all.
Go ahead.
Once again, I welcome you all to the live session. Today, we're gonna start again with another new topic with our a new guest. Today, in our midst, like I welcome you, ma'am. This is Dr. Sujatha Stephen, ma'am, who is the chief dietitian at Yashoda Hospitals. I'm really glad to invite you in the midst of our Oasis, ma'am. We have come with another topic like and discussion regarding like worldwide who has been now everywhere we have been seeing like almost 80% are women, young girls who has been suffering from PCOS, right? So today we're going to discuss about on PCOD with our guest like Sujatha Stephen ma'am, who is going to discuss and let you know like more things about the diet more than me. Okay. Yes, ma'am, you can go ahead and talk about, tell us a few like related, like diet related questions or diet related any kind of benefits or tips to guide us regarding the PCOD, ma'am.
Yeah. Thank you, Flora, and I'm very happy to be part of Oasis family and discuss about the diet and about this. The most now the means trending is that PCOS is the most trending, and it is the main concern for most of the young girls, like who are just having puberty and also very teenage girls, and also it is a main concern even in the pregnancy and then the fertility and all. So this PCOS is most common these days because of the lifestyle what we leading and the kind of food what we are eating. So all this has raised the symptoms of this PCOD and the condition of the PCOD, and people who are having mostly this hormonal imbalances. So that is the main concern for ending up with the PCOS, and also with the kind of lifestyle, and that leads to overweight, obesity in a very young age, and this also can be one of the concern for having this imbalance of the hormones, and that is leading to the PCOS. And also genetics also plays a role, like when you see like if there is any family tendency or the heredity in that also can be one of the cause for ending up in the PCOS. So this PCOS is like not a very what do you say, it's a very chronic kind of thing, but only thing is we can manage with diet and exercise. So that is the best
Yes.
thing what we have to understand is like with the PCOS, people who are suffering with the PCOS, there might be not a cure is not there, but they can manage very well PCOS with the kind of the lifestyle changes and the diet what we eat, and also strict monitoring of the hormones, and then taking a good amount of the supplements like nutrition supplements and all can control the symptoms. Like you see a lot of people are most worried and then suffering is the
Yes.
symptoms of the PCOS, like mostly like irregular periods or the heavy feeding, heavy bleeding, and also sometimes because the hair loss and acne, and mood swings and all, and even unwanted hair growth, and all these are the main concerns. Women are more worried about this symptom management. Okay, so these symptoms can be controlled and then well managed when you follow a proper medication and also with the diet and exercise. So this is
Yes.
what we have to understand.
Yes. So now, like patients, all the patients are like not too much of obese, but still underweight, or also having the PCOS. So how do to lose weight there, and how to control the PCOS, ma'am, for the lean patients,
Yes,
underweight?
there is two conditions. One is PCOS because of the overweight. Another
Yeah.
one is a lean PCOS, we say.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
here, the main thing is patients might lose weight. It means they might be going to underweight also.
Yes.
So here, what we have to understand is the diet which we are advising them to correct the hormone balance. Like we have to focus more on getting them a healthy fats and healthy carbs, and then giving them more of the protein diet so that they maintain that healthy weight, and which helps also to balance the hormones, whatever the imbalances are there, so that insulin resistance and all this we have to consider, and then plan a diet so that the patient should not go into undernourishment or undernutrition, because mostly PCOS means they think that cutting down the calories or cutting
Yes.
down the fat and all can make them more response for the PCOS. But that's
Yeah.
not the condition for everyone. So
Yes.
this varies from person to person, and we have to take the consideration of their lifestyle and then their diet and the kind of symptoms they are presenting. So that is
Yes.
very important. Based on that, you have to take both the we usually see the lean PCOS conditions and also the regular PCOS conditions who are related with the weight.
Yeah. So, by your tips, ma'am, we can suggest like almost a balanced diet. Okay. So we can mostly we do suggest I mean low GI diet. Okay, and a balanced diet what we usually give to the patients, right? So usually patients are like, can we follow a ketogenic diet or intermittent diet? Do that really can we help it out with them to lose more weight, or how does really it helps to lose or cure the PCOD, ma'am?
Yeah. Well, PCOS is a condition where the
What
diet.
what is the suggestion on the crash diet?
Yes, yes. So nowadays there are more information on internet. When you see, people get confused like which diet is they have to follow and which is going to give them a better result and a quick result, faster results. People are always looking out for that. But what we always believe as a clinical dietitians, we always say that you have to go with the basics, good foundation, and then a good proper diet which will definitely give them a long term better results. So these kind of trending diets or whatever the
Yes.
ketogenic diets or the intermediate or whatever the diets are there, all these are only for a temporary base. They cannot be that on that particular diet for a lifetime. Whereas when you see these PCOS problems or hormonal problems, sometimes there be like a chronic like long
True.
term conditions where you have to manage with a proper diet, proper healthy lifestyle, and all. So that is the reason these diets may not have a greater impact for a long term kind of thing. But
Yeah.
for a period of time, you want to change or you try to do any kind of practical kind of thing, then you can go for this kind of diets. But usually, we always see a good, better results because I have seen a lot of patients who are doing very well and going well with a very balanced diet, cutting
Yeah.
down on the extra carbs and then having them healthy fats and eating on time. That's very
Hmm.
important. The timely meals will regularize the insulin resistance also, and also the other hormones to get regularized, and then the lifestyle will be better, the gut health will be better, and they not be ending up in gastric problems or indigestions or the metabolic changes and all. So that's the reason we usually say to follow particular timings, meal timings, and maintain a proper healthy lifestyle, doing exercise and all, and not focusing on only the particular nutrient. Like keto diets is mostly on the fat diets, intermediate is mostly restrictive kind of thing. So there might be some result. Like I don't say these diets may not give you a result, but that may not be a longer time. Like people
Temporary.
always want to get back that regular timing meals, or sometimes they may not strictly be on that particular timings. So they have to deviate, and that deviation might end up in mostly metabolic disorders or indigestion or gastric problems because they are following that particular time schedule and all. So that is the reason we have to always stick to regular meals which you can follow for a permanently.
Permanent. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, ma'am, what do you suggest on seed cycling or gluten-free diet or a dairy-free diet? So usually patients will be asking like that. Like I do have a PCOD or thyroid. Like my doctor has advised me not to go with the dairy products or gluten diet. So is that true that to avoid a dairy products or a gluten-free diet to cure the PCOD, ma'am?
Yeah, mostly what we have to understand is like this gluten or sometimes even soya or soya bean products or the dairy products. So all these diets conditions like food products which are in the market are mostly like may not maybe sometimes might add up like extra fat, or sometimes they are being treated with hormones, like they are being treated with a lot of chemicals or preservatives or all this, and which might trigger the PCOS conditions.
Yeah.
So any kind of chemicals or any preservatives, any added flavors or all this might can do a change in your hormonal changes, like hormonal imbalances and all. So that is the reason why we always say that go for the products which are naturally produced products, and sometimes means not too processed products.
Yeah.
Like when you see all the gluten products are mostly or the refined maida based products which are refined flour products and all, so that also might cause the insulin resistance and they may not respond better. So that is the reason we have to restrict for some time, but gradually you can reintroduce, but they should not be too much processed. So that
Yeah.
is what we usually mean. And the low fat dairy products can be included in a limited amount, but mostly the all the dairy products comes with some amount of fats which might also can add up to the diabetic conditions, or might increase the carbohydrates and all. So that is the reason we have to be careful when you are advising, and when you are taking the dairy products, they should not be like too much processed, or it should not contain too much of fat. And low fat or skimmed milk can be included, but it has to be depending on again person to person, on
Yeah.
what conditions they are, or whether they are already having diabetic conditions or the insulin resistance. So based on that you can suggest.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And the other query have been here, like regarding the vegetarian dairy free. So for the vegetarians, how do we suggest to cure? Because we do give a balanced diet. We usually suggest with good omega-3 fatty acids, a good amount of protein. So vegetarians do have a lot of queries regarding the PCOD. So what is the suggestion for the vegetarian diet, ma'am? With
Yeah, vegetarians usually are they have to focus more on their protein intakes, like how to get the protein into their diet. And that's where we have to focus more on nuts and then seeds and then beans, lentil kind of products that they can include. And these are all beans are all comes with good amount of fiber, and also they comes with a good amount of iron, zinc and selenium and all. So that's the reason they can include kind of beans and legumes and all in their diet regularly, along with their what do you say, that scheduled cereals, and not going on the refined products and all. And all the plant-based foods are mostly they are safer, and they can include all these things. But soya and all, again they have to be careful when eating. They don't need to be completely avoid it. They have to restrict those kind of things. As we said, even dairy products can be restricted, so that it should be on a low fat kind of paneer or low fat they can include. And that's how they have to focus more on nuts, like even almonds and see all these nuts comes with some amount of protein and healthy fats which can help them to maintain their weight, and also to not to add on unnecessary calories also. So that required portion control is also very important. So when you follow and plan your diet, including all this in a frequent intervals, this will definitely help them to get their calcium also, because we are also saying not to have too much of dairy products. So they have to go for the other calcium sources, like even sesame seeds and vegetarian, like all the vegetables which contain the calcium and all. So that will definitely help them to get into kind of their calcium sources and the protein and all. So that's we have to balance it. That's very important. So being a vegetarian or a non-vegetarian, main thing is, are we focusing on the regular intake of the proteins and then the carbohydrates and then balancing them with all the healthy nutrients. So this will definitely help you out.
Thank you, ma'am, for this beautiful answer. And the another query is like, how about the insulin resistance? Like, how about the insulin and the carbohydrates? So, how to go with a low GI foods to be included in our daily diet?
Yeah. So yeah, that's what, because the once the patient is diagnosed with the PCOS, usually they usually end up with this insulin resistance. And nowadays there were a lot of studies on this inositol and myoinositol is also, which is definitely going to help the people in insulin balance. And so that can be get from the diet also, like fruits and beans will help in insulin management. And also it helps in hormone balance also. So there are a lot of products are coming up with this inositol and all. And coming to insulin resistance, it's good to always go with the low GI foods, like as we know that carbohydrates have to be balanced, and good amount of fiber also will help in maintaining. So when they're planning a diet, try to make sure that you include lots of fruits and vegetables which contain good amount of fiber, and not adding up unnecessary sugars or artificial sweeteners and all should be avoided. And balance your insulin with taking portion control and frequent intervals, like when you take in timely meals. This will definitely going to help you to maintain your carbohydrate content and also the insulin resistance. So the hormone balance can be occurred with having a proper timely meals. So that is very important. So with that, you can also add up a good amount of protein foods in all the three meals, and this will definitely help you out to balance it.
Yes. And another query is like regarding, I mean, most of the women have been into the hostels now. Young women and teenagers are from the hostels. So they won't be getting a proper balanced diet. Mostly the girls will be hanging out and having a lot of food from the outside. So how to manage the food, like choosing from out, and how to maintain through the diet in a daily
Okay.
basis.
Yeah. So main thing is like as we said that teenagers are mostly ending up in PCOS is because of the kind of the food they eat and the lifestyle what they are leading. Okay, so as long as they are being at home, taking home food and eating on time, they don't have this PCOS symptoms only. But the lifestyle is definitely have to be a concern. So they have to focus on their timely meals, and when you are eating out, what kind of food they are eating. All the processed meals, like when you see they eat all this junk food, too much of refined buns and breads and pizzas and all. So they're definitely going to add you up, and you're not going to cure your PCOS. Means not able to control that PCOS. So that's the reason when you go out, try to have more of fruits and vegetable, means like fresh fruits and vegetable based snacks or whatever it is, but not having too much deep fried foods and oily foods, and have to be very choosy when you are eating out. So I always say to my clients, like when they go out, always carry some nuts with you, like in a bag. Always carry one fistful of nuts or some nuts. So whenever you have the craving, when you end up in outside, like when you go to any shopping or wherever, just you can just munch on the nuts. So nuts will always benefit your body, and you will not have the craving also. Like you have some stamina, energy, it makes you alert, so that till you come back home, you can balance your energy levels or stamina levels and all. And then you can always go for some healthy snacks, like low calorie and not too deep fried foods. And these things which we have to be in always you have to be conscious when you eat out. Go for like low fat kind of foods, and not too deep fried kind of thing, like grilled or some baked foods or something like that. So the choice of the food is very important. So that's how you have to train the your body, and then you need to be very conscious when you are eating outside. So this will definitely help you and not to end up in severe conditions of the PCOS, and you can manage well with the PCOS.
Yeah. Ma'am, and I have another question. Like in the vegetarian, do we have most of the patients will be adding? Can we add a whey protein?
Yeah, well, protein is always comes with good benefits only, because all our Indian diets are mostly deficit of proteins. That's where we end up in this hormone imbalances and all. So that's the reason protein in whatever source you are taking, but take in not a very processed
Mm.
pattern, but it should be less processed and more like natural sources are much better. Like when you have non-vegetarians, like you can eat chicken or fish or whatever it is, or eggs, or also they can include. And only in a vegetarian conditions they can add some protein supplements which are more natural based and which are not too much processed and not added chemicals and all. So in PCOD condition, the main concern is like when you suggest your products, the product should not have too much of chemicals and all the preservatives, because that is going to again impact on your PCOS. So that's the reason we have to be very choosy in taking what kind of protein you're taking and what kind of supplements you're taking. That's very important.
Yeah. Thank you, ma'am. And another query is like, usually I do suggest for my patients is like in a breakfast, like two idlis with one boiled egg. Okay. And it is like kind of balanced diet. So what is your suggestion on the portion control size and how to plan a diet for the PCOD, ma'am?
Yeah, PCOS is that's what we always have to focus on, the kind of carbohydrates you're suggesting.
Yes.
See, mostly all the carbohydrates what you plan in their diets have to come with a good amount of fiber. Okay,
Yes.
so not too processed. Like when you see the idlis what we are eating today and the idlis what we are there in past 20 years back, there are a lot of difference because we are using that refined rava, refined dal and all. So that's again is going to be a processed one, and then it's definitely that may not be sufficient for him, and then they start craving for the food. So that's
True.
why try to advise something which are more wholesome and whole grains kind of thing. Like you can advise them to be on taking like millets are there, and then oats, and which are not refined flour, atta, roti, or jowar, or whatever it is. So something like which contain more fiber, and then
Yes.
along with that, egg is always good. Like they can include a one egg, and early breakfast is also very important. So that's really going to help them to lose weight and to maintain their energy levels and all. So early breakfast with more of fiber-rich cereals, like whole cereals, will definitely help. And even they go for a in between snack should be whole fruits rather than going for juices and all. So this will definitely going to help. So in a breakfast, instead of idlis and all, you can go for something whole cereal based or millet like ragi roti or something like ragi flakes. There are a lot of whole cereals which are now available in the market, and less processed and more of fiber content breakfast will definitely going to help you.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. And another query is like related to the physical activity and the diet. See, nowadays, most of the people doesn't want to go for a physical activity, doesn't want to go out and walk almost for 30 to 45 minutes. So, how do you suggest with the diet and some physical activity will really helps us to lose weight sooner? So drastic changes, both by doing both, we can see usually what we suggest in the like in the first. So if we want to
Yes.
get result sooner, because we according to the treatment, if we advise both, I mean the results will be the more faster. So I do
Yes.
suggest, because a few patients will be like, I cannot go for a walk, I can follow the diet. But few patients are like, I cannot stop craving my food, but I can do some exercises and all. So what do you suggest now?
Mostly it's like what do you say? Exercise should be always a part of your diet regime, because only exercise can help the patient to better what do you say, their hormones regularization, and then the body will start getting respond for this diet and all these things. So exercise plays a very important role, and they have to do kind of exercise. So mostly what I always suggest is focus on cardio exercises more. So this will help in the blood circulation, it improves the oxygen percentage in the body, and also it helps in regularizing the hormones, the cycles and all. So regular doing cardio exercise, either they can do walking kind of thing, or if they don't have time, at least some warm-up exercises like stretching exercises kind of thing, which they have to do. Because I've seen people who come to me with a regular exercise, they respond better, and they have come with the almost the controlled PCOS. They don't have symptoms of PCOS only, and their cycles were completely regular. They're getting the regular cycles. Like when patients who are coming with irregular exercises, like they are not focusing more on exercise and they're not getting time on exercise and all. So they are like still they have that irregular cycles. Like 1 month if they don't do exercise, they again come with irregular cycles. So that is the reason they have to be more regular in their exercise. So whatever kind of exercise, even you have a 10 minutes time, but do exercise. So that 10 minutes of that warm up exercise will take care of the whole day. So that's how you have to focus on and take time, because it's a the diet and exercise will definitely going to help the patient to control and to get back the regular cycles, that their periods regular and all. So that's the reason they have to focus on exercise and try to take time. Even morning, at least a warm up exercise, and then evening they can do, even post dinner they can do a kind of walking and all, which will definitely help the patient to regularize the cycles.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we have another query related to the how does vitamin D really helps in the PCOD, ma'am?
Yeah. So vitamin D also has a n number of benefits to the body. Okay, like when you see vitamin D deficiency has leading to lot of hormonal imbalances, and then the mental health, the physical health, and lot of changes in the body, because of the vitamin D has a big role in maintaining the hormone balances and all. So that's the reason these days nowadays a lot of people are coming up with vitamin D deficiency, and you see they also have this irregular cycles and all. So that's the reason you have to focus on vitamin D. Check vitamin D every 6 months, so that at least we will know where the hormones are being balanced, and whether there is sufficient amount of vitamin D is there or not. So that's the reason vitamin D has to be always in good sufficient levels. So that will regularize the hormonal changes, like all these irregular cycles and all. So that's a way you have to take either vitamin D supplement, and if you are in a lower levels, and try to focus for the sun exposure, at least 10 to 15 minutes of that sun exposure also, it's very important. So whenever you have symptoms of PCOD, you also have to check your vitamin D, and that you have to correct vitamin D, then you can see a lot of change in your cycles. So if you don't correct the vitamin D and you do a lot of exercise and diet, you might not get that actual changes like what you are expecting for the PCOS. So they're all interconnected, and vitamin D has a major role, and you have been lot of studies are there. So you have to check the vitamin D and take the supplement, and vitamin D rich dietary products like even egg yolk contains a good amount of, and nuts and all, and the fish and all this can be included in their diet to compensate that vitamin D. And sun exposure is what we usually suggest along with the supplementation.
Thank you so much, ma'am. This is really helps us regarding the PCOD diet
Yeah.
because it's by knowing you, by talking with you, we have to know that to go with a well balanced diet with good nutritious amount of food and good amount of vitamins and minerals, where we have to include and we have to keep do test and all, and regular physical activity with proper diet, which really helps to be uh, mainly is lifestyle modification is number one priority where we have to change to in ourselves. So thank you so much, ma'am. Once again, I'm thanking you to be a part of the Oasis family, and thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Flora. It was nice seeing you hosting such a live shows, and it's definitely going to help the patients.
So much.
And most of them they get to know, because most of them they may not be reaching to a dietitian to understand what they
Yes,
exactly going through. But this is definitely going to help you all. Thank
yes.
you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.